something's really wrong in the Northern Territory. Drinking culture, for a start, is way out of hand. We've had the terrible violence in Alice Springs, particularly among drunken Aboriginal men, but now a terrible tragedy in Darwin. 20-year-old Declan Laverty was working in a bottle shop, refused service to a customer who allegedly stabbed him, killed him. Joining me is Sky News Northern Australia correspondent Matt Cunningham, who's at the crime scene. Matt, this is just a shocking story. I just read that the dying young man just had time to send his father a last text.
It was absolutely devastating, I think, today, Andrew, to hear his father, who called in to Mix FM, the local radio station here in Darwin, spoke to the host, Katie Wolfe, and he detailed that last text message that his son had sent him, and it said, "Love you, Dad, I've been stabbed." I think everyone who listened to that interview today was just absolutely heartbroken to hear that father talk about the tragic death of his son, a 20-year-old kid who came to work a shift here at the Darwin Airport Tavern and never made it home. It was just before 9 o'clock last night, Andrew, when this incident happened. Now, police have said that this bottle shop attendant, Declan Laverty, refused service to an individual. The individual left and came back a short time later. He then actually served that same individual a second time. There were three teenagers with him, a 19-year-old, a 16-year-old and a 15-year-old, and one of those teenagers has stabbed him several times, and he's died here at the scene.
Makes you sick, mate. A young man doing something productive, earning his way, stabbed by lowlife. I mean, really, what does this actually say about the Northern Territory? Because, boy, mate, the news from the Territory has just been so depressing for so long now.
Well, it has. I think we've covered too much of it here, Andrew, not just over the past 2 or 3 months where there really has been a national focus on it, but you and I have been talking about these issues, I think, probably for 6 or 7 years or more. Sadly, not much seems to change. In fact, a lot of people would say that the issues here in the Northern Territory are getting worse, not better. A lot of people are talking about what's happening in remote communities in the Northern Territory, the fact that they're basically being places that are completely run down, where no one wants to live. You're then seeing people come into the major centres, places like Alice Springs and Darwin, and we're seeing, shocking increases in crime, in domestic violence, in other crime-related statistics. So, I mean, it really is a tragic situation, you have to say, and we're dealing with another tragedy here in Darwin today.
Has it made much of an impact in Darwin?
Oh, look, it's made a huge impact. I think it's something that everybody's talking about today. I mean, I'm just at the scene now, Andrew, and just have a look behind me. There are dozens of people, strangers mostly, who've come here to this bottle shop today and laid flowers here at the scene. I think people are just shocked at what's happened, and a lot of people are saying that things need to change. This young man's father, when he spoke today, he said that it wasn't the first time he'd actually been attacked at work. He said only a couple of weeks ago someone else had tried to attack him with a screwdriver. He spoke about a colleague who was off work, still off work because he'd been physically assaulted a couple of weeks ago. And people in the industry are saying that these are not isolated incidents. Andrew, I've been told about an incident last week at another BWS store in Palmerston where there was an axe that was raised by a customer who'd gone into that shop. Other incidents that are coming to light now where bottle shop staff have really been put at the forefront of this issue, and they're having to deal with some terrible acts of violence that are directed towards them. And in this case, they've been tragic, deadly consequences.
What an effing waste of life, For what? Matt Cunningham, thank you so much for your time.